I personally believe, and you can probably quote me, and probably in a couple of years going to happen, the barber game is going to get taken over by females. They're not rough, you know what I mean? They're delicate.
Oh yeah, with the hands and
Yes,
emotions too.
exactly, and emotions, and they're willing to listen to you. You know,
Yes.
also they're willing to learn. Um, from what I've seen, this is just experience.
Yeah.
I go to places or I talk to other people, like they won't go take educational classes or they won't go to shows. Or I already did it, done that. Well, yeah, but there's probably different ways to get, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or to excel and make it. Maybe it's just that one thing that you're missing out. But what I experienced, like people don't want to do that in the barbershop setting.
Yeah.
Females, when I go to the hair shows, you'll see tons of females and they'll take the same class over and over and over until they get it.
Wow.
And the male side, if they don't get it, just move on, or just stay to whatever they know.
How have you been just as a person? Like, how have you been since what I saw you a decade ago, over a decade ago?
Yeah, over a decade.
Yeah. How is being a father? How is life?
So, I mean, last what we seen each other for over a decade. It's been a journey, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
A different journey, obviously, that a lot of us have taken, taken the last couple of years. But personally, been able to live out the dream that I wanted to, right off bat.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of learning experiences, and a lot of things that go on, but it's made me a better person. As a father, man, it's changed me a lot since the first and second child. First one was like, it's a boy, like, he's gonna be, I can get to, mold him and shape him a certain way.
Yeah.
But when I had a daughter, that really like set in stone, like it's a whole different ballgame.
I mean, especially as a man, a daughter, that's a lot of emotions you probably have to tap into that you probably didn't with a boy.
Exactly.
Wait, and what are the ages, by the way?
7 and 5.
Okay, got you. And can we just talk about the fact that, okay, is it Alicia or Alicia?
Alicia.
Yeah. Y'all been together since high school. I remember when y'all were dating. Was it freshman year?
Yep.
Wow, that's dope. I love that. And when did y'all get married?
We got married. Now you're asking questions. I can't remember.
Now I'm testing your relationship. Okay.
No, we got married going on 8 years now.
Okay. Oh, what happened? It's all good. The power of editing. It's fine. So 8 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's a long time. So,
sorry.
It's okay.
There you go. Sorry about that.
All good. Well, I'm happy for y'all. I think that's dope. High school sweethearts. So is I don't know if you remember Lindsay and Chris. She's my best friend. Yeah. They have 2 kids as well. High school sweethearts.
Yep. Chris.
Yep. So I want to start off with like a bunch of random ass fun questions to ask you, just so people can get to know who you are as a person outside of being this dope entrepreneur. So bear with me with these questions. Okay, so it's gonna be like a fast round. So you got to answer them fast. Okay, so the first question is, what is your favorite song?
Favorite song?
Yeah.
I want to say song. I say probably album by Kendrick. Damn.
Yeah, that was a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, I love that one. Do you have like a favorite like hype song? I've been asking the women Ratchet song, but I feel like Ratchet doesn't work for a male.
No, I don't think I do. I mean, like I said, I like that whole album. I really can't pick like one particular song.
That's all good. Do you have a favorite film? I'm into films.
Film, yes. I think the biggest one that I like personally is by Denzel. I love Denzel. American Gangster. It's like,
Oh, that's a good one.
because there's a lot of entrepreneurship side in it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? From like
Yeah.
how you talk about the product and don't be messing with this product and all
Right.
that. So,
I love that. I thought you were going to say Barbershop 1 and 2, but it's fine. That would have been too easy, too cheesy too.
yeah.
Do you have a favorite person in your field slash industry that like maybe a mentor that's helped
Yeah.
you through this process?
Yes. Tyreek Jackson. If you guys are able to follow him on Instagram, I am Tyreek Jackson. He's helped me out a lot. I was at a turning point where I just wanted to be done. And he opened up his doors, and I was able to go to Philly and be able to express where I was at, what was going on, and be able to like, he was just like, all right, like I know where you at. I've been through it. Let's move. These are the things that I can help you with, and ideas that I've been through, you know, all of that. So that really like one of my turning point in business and as a barber as well. Yeah.
That's dope. Nice. And where did you meet him? Did you say?
So I'm through social media. I was following for a while, and I just shot him a text. A message on Instagram, like, hey, like, I love what you're doing. What's going, like, everything you're talking about. I agree with it. I'm having these situations as a barber, as an owner. Is there any way I can link up with you? And he was like, yeah, just come down to the school. He has a school as well, barber school.
Yeah. And
we can, you know, chop it up and go from there.
I love that. Wow, the power of social media, sliding in the DMs. Yeah, that's what I did to you. Just slid in that DM professionally. Yeah. What is your favorite quote? Inspiring quote. Do you have one? Something you live by?
I'm terrible remembering quotes. I am. But
okay.
I have a few that I just kind of, you know, I can't think of the top of my head, but I do read every once in a while. Yeah. All good. All good. And my last question, do you have like a favorite hairstyle or cut that you do? Favorite hairstyle. I mean, at this point, and like I said, I'm keeping it real. Like thing is like, to me, it's the same. I've been doing this since I was 16. Okay. So like I'm in a point in my life, like I've seen it all, done it all when it comes to haircuts. Yeah. But if one of them that I like, because it's kind of unique, is the tapers. Because you can do high, low. There's so many different ways, different angles that you can make them pop. Okay. So yeah, probably taper. Okay, got you. I have no clue what that is, but I like it. We taper the side and the back. Oh, taper the side. Oh, okay. Here we are. Got you. So I wanted to ask, are you originally from Middletown, or because I remember on your Instagram post recently, and we'll talk about the second location you're opening, but you posted something like from Puerto Rico, or I wasn't sure if I read it wrong. Are you originally from Puerto Rico? So I was born in Puerto Rico, and then I grew up in Middletown. So, okay. When did you come to Middletown? Huh? When did you come to Middletown? Around like 7 years old. So first grade. Got you. Okay, cool. Didn't know that. Shout out to you. Yeah. So then tell us about how you became an entrepreneur. What inspired you? You said you was doing this since you were 16 years old. So you was cutting hair in high school. Was it for like friends in high school? Yeah, anybody that would let me, honestly. So I'm gonna tell you, backtrack to the story, how entrepreneurship really, like, I knew this was it for me. Please. I was in elementary and I was already like, long story short to that was, I was selling candy in the bus, and I got in trouble for it. Okay. So like I was stealing candy from my mom that she had big old bags, and I would just take it to the bus and, you know, sell it for 5-10 cents, whatever I could get my hands on. And like through middle school and high school, like there's something about I couldn't have a job. I don't know, like it wasn't for me. Even then, there's nothing against jobs, there's nothing against 9-to-5s. For me personally, yeah, I just couldn't see myself doing that. So my end of sophomore year, I was getting haircuts, you know, throughout my youth and whatnot, but I just didn't like the way it was coming out. It was like never like the way I wanted it. So I just grabbed a pair of clippers, started cutting my own hair. And then my first client, quote unquote, was my grandpa. He let me cut his hair, which is still alive to this day. Shout out to him. He's about to be 90 years old this month. So, but yeah, I did that, cut my brothers. And then what I did was at school, I will bet on myself, on friends and whoever I can get my hands on. Like, hey, if you don't like the haircut, it's free. If you like it, I'm charging you $5. And that's how I kind of build myself around that time when I was like 16, 17 years old.
That's what's up. And so did you always know, like once you were doing that, were you like, okay, I think this is my path to a career? Or was that just kind of like easy money at that point since you were good at it?
So like, I was getting just like everybody else. I think at that time, like you had to go to college. My older brother went to college. My mom and dad were pushing me to go to college, and I'm like, all right, let's do that. But for some reason, I'm like, that's not what I want to do. That's not it. So after like junior year, I'm like, you know what? Forget college. Let my parents know I'm gonna cut hair and I'm gonna get my license. Obviously, they were a little bit bummed out, and they're like, you know, like they teach us like you have to go to college to be successful. But in my heart, like I'm like, I don't think that's the real meaning. You know what I mean? To be successful is doing something you love to do.
I agree.
So
keep going.
Yeah, like the whole barbering thing really came also from like I used to draw a lot. So like it was just a transition for me. Like fading was like shading. You know what I mean? Hard lines were like the lineups. That's how everything I kind of transferred that love of art into the art of barbering.
Okay.
And then again, like that's just how I knew that was it for me, like for some odd reason.
I love that because
I stuck to it. Yeah.
There's artistry in what you do, so that makes sense that you would have to draw. I mean, then are most barbers like, are they able to draw since you essentially, I mean, you're pretty much drawing on someone's head, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's people who do portraits now. I don't know if you've seen those before. It's crazy what you can do to hair. But I'm gonna pull it up for you so you can see it.
Yeah.
This guy, he's unreal when it comes to that.
Like he sells the portraits of?
No, he draws on people's head, like literally. If I can find it. I can't find this page right now.
You're fine.
But anyway, like he actually draws like anybody's head on hair, you know?
Oh, like cuts it. Like,
yeah.
Oh wow, that's dope. And cuts a whole portrait on someone's head. That's dope. That's probably expensive. Whew. Shout out to him.
Yeah. But yeah, it is a form of art. I don't think people they're starting to realize that now. Which is, it's amazing because when I first started cutting hair and where the transition of where it's at now, it's unreal.
Yeah. So okay, so you at what point then did you say I want to start a business? Was it when you hit that dude up on Instagram?
No. So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit too, just so you can get a better understanding. Like when we had our own counselors in school, and I always said I was gonna say this sooner or later. I went to a counselor. I'm like, hey, like this is what I want to do. Yada yada yada. Like I want to be a barber. Like, well, that's just basic. You can just go to school, go to barber school afterwards. It's like it's something basic to do. And like I think if I had a different mentality, I would have thought like, damn, that's just normal. You know what I mean? Like it's whatever. You know, I would have just not done anything with myself.
Yeah.
And you know, if you Google it right now, like barbering, quote unquote, you make about 30 grand to 50 grand a year.
Okay, I didn't even know how much. Good to know.
Well, in Google.
Oh, okay.
But in reality, I mean, I've been able to make over 6 figures for the last 4 or 5 years.
Wow. And how old are you? Can we just let everyone know your age? You're younger than me.
28.
Wow. Oh, you're not that much younger than me. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought you were like 26 or something like that. No. Okay, 28. Wow, but that's still dope. 6 figures and you're not even 30.
Yeah.
That's goals.
So shout out to her for being negative to me in that way.
Right.
I always like I said, I wanted to say this. I'm making more than her at this point. So
Woo! Flex.
uh,
I love that. Yeah, man. Listen, I've had counselors say some things, so I love that you were able to have that moment to show her
yeah, and,
that she was
and you know,
wrong.
and I have friends too, like, oh, that's just, you know, you're an outcast. That's just gonna be a regular thing. You know, you're just gonna be a regular barber. You know, in the hometown, not doing anything.
Right.
And I just wanted to, you know, always made that clear, like, yeah, it was like that at a certain point being a barber, you know, but the industry has changed so much now that, you know, so many things you can get out of this, and it's a hidden, you know, thing too. It's like a hidden gem that we have in the barber culture. Like you really don't want to kind of express that because people kind of belittle you. You know what I mean? From oh, you're just a barber, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you started out. So did you start out being a barber, or did you start out like being a barber in your own like
So
place?
so I had to get once I got my license. When I went to school, all I wanted to do was just cut hair and be a barber. That was it.
Uh-huh.
But during the school time of doing barbering, like I halfway through, I'm like, I could see what I could do, not just as a barber, but for the community. Uh,
Okay. Wait.
so in
I'm gonna
my eyes, I was like, why can't I just challenge myself and not just be a regular average barber and bring something to the city where there's only a few things you can do there. Go to college, work at the mill, be a dope boy, or do nothing. Right. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I just want to show people underneath, you know, that are growing up, like there's more to it. You know, you can be a barber or have a shop and be successful and work your butt off and, you know, live your life you want to live.
Mhm.
And that was my goals for the last 5, 6, 7 years. And, you know, it's been working out as a lot of younger barbers in our area now that they weren't before, you know, and I'm happy to see that growth within the community.
I love that. So I keep jumping. I apologize, but let me backtrack. So you did go to college for this, or you didn't have to go to college? You went to
You
like
gotta
some
go, yeah, you gotta go to Barber College.
barber college. So a specific type of college for people who want to be barbers.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that existed. That's dope. So how long is that, by the way? Just curious.
So it's 1,800 hours in Ohio.
Okay.
So it's about a year.
Okay. Got you.
It's 8 hours a day. You don't get paid. You're paying them to sit
Yeah.
there and yeah,
And you
go
just
through the
cut their hair.
whole.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
If you
learn.
get haircuts, I mean, coming through, you know,
Oh, so
because
you
it's
have to like market yourself and
so like when you're in a barber school, like you're really there for the educational part. So it comes to be like the high, you know, the sanitation and properly, you know, use tools and all that. But
Mhm.
they believe you learn cutting after you graduate and you get into a barbershop setting.
Mhm.
So you do get walk-ins to the school, but obviously at that point you get who comes in, or if you market yourself, you can probably get friends and family to come through.
Right, right. So
Yeah.
let's talk about you hiring the community because I was curious about that. So, okay, just so I know, Royal Studios, also it's a combination between a barbershop and a hair salon, right?
Roast, well, it was at a point where it transitioned just to a barbershop now.
Just a barbershop now.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. So, what was the process and like, how did you know who to hire? It's in Middletown, is it? Or
Yeah. So
okay,
I got Royal Studio Middletown. We're
yeah.
going on 6 years now in July.
Mm-hmm.
Um, everything was new to me. My parents, all they taught me was to work. So that's where that mentality of just being a barber and just working my butt off came from. But
Mm-hmm.
again, every year, every time, like there's something in my head. I'm like, okay, there's more to what I'm thinking. You know, I always
Mm-hmm.
challenge myself. So it was all new experience. So I was at a shop for a year. I saved as much money as I could then, and
Mm-hmm.
then I just took a leap of faith and opened up when I was 22, going on 23.
Okay.
Uh, it was all new to me. I didn't know what I was really doing. I just knew I had enough clientele to pay the bills at this point.
Mm-hmm.
um, but through the last almost 6 years, hiring and firing and people leaving, like that's all been new to me. Could I have done certain things better? Yeah, but I'm just taking notes and learning as I go, you know? So, and on that aspect, like I really didn't have no experience. I'm getting experience. And to this day, I'm still getting experience into that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just, to me, I just take it as everything that I'm doing is a learning experience.
Okay.
So, yeah, could I did it better or this could have happened? I'm like, yeah, but now I know what not to do in the future.
But that's a process when
Yeah.
starting something is you excel at it and then you mess up and you learn from your mistakes and then you do better next time. And that's what also makes for a good story, because who wants to listen to a story where everything went well? Then that's not inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
like,
yeah, keep going.
no, so like, yeah, the part of just learning the hiring process, it's been tough. What I've learned, people don't really show you the true colors after 6 months, 3 to 6 months. You know, it's just like anywhere else. You're gonna sell yourself.
Yeah.
You're gonna do whatever you can to begin, just so you can, you know, just show that you're here. But my thing is the consistency. Like, let me see how consistent you're gonna be to your words, to who you're saying you are, and then I'm just gonna let you show me. You know, action speaks louder than words.
So what type of okay, let me just be this is how I say it. I know the barbershop has a vibe because it's a lot it's a lot of males, there's a lot of testosterone in there. And I'm sure at times, you know, I grew up with two brothers. So they were always going to, I think, the red barbershop growing up. Yeah, Reds. So I know it can be a great vibe, and then it can be like a little too much. Right. So what type of what stuff or what did you learn about the type of people that you need around you as coworkers, and people that you know that like it's not going to work, like as far as personality and or work ethic wise?
Yeah, so like on those things, like you have to kind of just, you know, let them know from the beginning, this is the expectations at this place. And to give you clarification on that, like I run my shop as a business because it is a business. I think that's where a lot of the industry in the past has failed. You know, before they would take it in as, you know, it's just a regular thing on the corner, you know what I mean, in the neighborhood, and not kind of put a, you know, put yourself at a certain level.
Right.
But like at the shop, like we have females and males that cut hair as well in our shop.
I love that.
But you know, me personally, when I bring in people, I let them know like this is a job, it's a business, and there's just certain rules that we're gonna follow. You know, that because it falls into the branding. You know, just simple stuff, being on time, like that's just a big thing. You know, make sure you're here for the client, not for yourself. You know, just like you go to the salon, do you want to express yourself, or you want to hear to the stylist what they talk about every day all day? You know, you're there.
Yeah.
So it's like a consultate, you know, you're doing consulting too, not consulting is what I'm looking for, counseling.
Okay.
So you have to be open to that, you know what I mean? And know that you're there for the client. You know what I mean? The way I approach that is a client can hire me today and he can fire me today.
Yeah.
So like come in, if I'm not on my game and it's all about me and my problems and, you know, and all this, that, third, and the other, I'm not on time. The music, the vibe, you know, it's not you know, like if it's not professional, they'll pay for the cut, but they won't come again.
Yeah. I think that's a good mindset to have because it keeps you on your, you know, on your A game.
Yeah, for sure.
And not expecting business to always be, you know, at the level that you want it to be, because that's true. Anybody can leave and decide not to go. I mean, people do it all the time.
Well, I've seen people leave certain business, or if they have tell me, you know, past experience, like I will leave and get a worse haircut somewhere. I got a guy. I would say, quote unquote, high-end client of mine. He works for the Bengals. He's like, dude, I've gotten crappy haircuts, but I will go to them because they were always on time. They were always doing, what they needed to do. They were professional. I prefer that
Mm.
over being somebody who can really cut and is not professional, being late. Like it all depends on what are you trying to have around you, like you're saying. I
Yeah.
personally want to have people want to grow and elevate. That's my biggest thing is elevation. How can we elevate to the next thing?
Yeah, exactly. So what made you, because not a lot of people hire female barbers, and I love that. So what
Yeah.
made you decide like, okay, we need to open it up?
Um, I don't see like the gender being a thing for me like that. I'm cool with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and again, I like challenging. You know what I mean? I like challenging what's around me. Same
Mm-hmm.
thing like with the shop. Like we open up at a certain time, we close at a certain time. We do appointments. If you don't show up and you don't call it in, we charge you for it. That's time that you're taking out of a barber's, time
Yeah.
of somebody else that could, slide in and get a service. Same thing with the females. Like I personally believe, and you can probably quote me, and probably in a couple of years going to happen. The barber game is going to get taken over by females.
Really? Why do you
Yeah,
think that?
because females, first of all, have a different um, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not rough. You know what I mean? They're delicate.
Oh yeah, with the hands and
Yes,
emotions too.
exactly. And emotions, and they're willing to listen to you. You know,
Yes.
um, also they're willing to learn. Um, from what I've seen, this is just experience.
Yeah.
I go to places or I talk to other people, like they won't go take educational classes or they won't go to shows. Or I already did it, done that. Well, yeah, but there's probably different ways to get, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or to excel and make it. Maybe it's just that one thing that you're missing out. But what I experienced, like people don't want to do that in the barbershop setting,
Yeah.
um, females, when I go to the hair shows, you'll see tons of females and they'll take the same class over and over and over until they get it.
Wow.
Um, and the male side, if they don't get it, just move on, or just stay to whatever they know.
Wow.
So that's just what I see. And two, like females, they're caring, they care for the spot as well, the
Mm-hmm.
appearance, what around the stations, all of that.
Mm. Okay.
Um,
The presentation of it all.
exactly.
I love that.
And I mean, I'm just keeping it real. That's just what it is. A
Yeah.
female will keep their station clean 24/7.
Wow.
Guys, like, do you know how to clean a mirror? Like, it's not hard. Get
Yeah.
some wind, spray it down. It doesn't
Yeah.
take too.
Dang, that's interesting. Not as surprising, but it is kind of surprising hearing you say that like you feel like in the next few years women will take over
Yeah,
as like be the majority of the barbers. But I also feel like whenever you're like you're in a space where you're the minority,
hmm,
and for women, they're in a male dominated space. When
exactly.
anybody is in that space, they feel like they have to work twice as hard and to
Yeah,
prove themselves. And I'm sure in the back of their minds, for some of them, they're like, okay, I have to make sure I come with my A game because these men are probably expecting me not to be as dope as them.
yeah, exactly. Doc said I wanted to challenge just the area too. Like, I think we are one of the first places to have female barbers in the area.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to
Dope.
do that, and like, no, like females can cut too. And we have three in there right now. One is 18, the other one just turned 20, and the other one's 28.
And so you have a young staff. So how is that? Because I feel like normally growing up, I would see whenever my parents would make me go to the barber shop to pick up my brothers, I would see more like older males. So was this like on purpose that you wanted to hire people around your age, or was it just easier to hire those?
So I mean, we have a couple older people as well, but I wanted to have a mix. So we do
Mhm.
have two older people. They're in their 30s,
Mhm.
later 30s, and then we have, like I said, 28, and then younger. Uh, the goal with that was be able to just give the opportunity to younger generation. like I was saying earlier, and then to also make that shift, like you don't have to just have old barbers, cutting hair around the area.
Yeah, and young people can be professional too.
Exactly.
Because
That
I'm
was the
sure
whole concept behind it.
exactly because I'm sure as say a 40-year-old man walking into this barber shop and they see a bunch of 20-year-olds, there's going to be like probably question it a little bit, you know.
Exactly.
So shout out to you for that. So can you explain this S.M.P? Is that what is it? Something pigmentation?
Yeah, scalp
Something.
micropigmentation. That's where we're at
That's
right
what it
now.
is. Okay. Okay. So we're at your Cincinnati location.
Yep.
That's what's up. Okay, so I want to know the process to first of all how you got interested in this. Is this a popular thing that men are demanding, which is why you got
Yeah.
into like tell me the whole thought process from coming from okay, I'm going to cut hair to actually I'm going to also focus on this and then I'm going to open a location because you don't hear about that much.
Yeah. So how it happened was going back to taking classes, going to hair shows, which I take real pride in because from when I went to school, like a lot of people don't do this, especially around the area. They don't go to shows. They don't want to invest their money and learn. But I was going to a couple of them for the last couple of years. My cousin got it done in Chicago a couple of years ago. We met up. I'm like, dude, is that like hair? He's like, no, dude, like this is this. And he was telling me more about it because he's also certified for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, I'm like, cool. Just left it at that. But I did a little bit of research on it. And it came from the UK. About 10 years ago, they started doing that.
Oh.
Into the US about, from what I noticed, and I now recognize about 18 years ago as well to the US.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just sitting back and watching it. I'm like, what is this going to evolve to? Is this really going to happen? And about 2 years ago, I'm like, okay, this might take off, And again, I was losing hair, and I'm like, let me see what this is about. Just kept putting more focus on it. And again, Tyreek was hosting a class up there that shout out to this other guy, Eddie, S.M.P Barber on Instagram. He was in a class up at Tyreek's school, and I'm like, all right, I'm about to go up there and check it out and see it for myself. And when I got up there, I'm like, okay, this is like legit. This is gonna change people's lives. Like, and I'm like, how can this work? And we're talking about it and amongst the group in there, and it's like it makes sense. You're a barber, you see people thinning. You know what I mean? Hair transplants really don't work unless you have Elon Musk money. You know what I mean? You can afford it like that.
Oh, okay.
Because it's procedures after procedures, and it's a swelling in your head, and you got that part. The transplant is so much. You have to cut part of your back of your head to get hair from there, hair follicles, to then put it in the front. It's a lot.
So this is a simpler process.
Right. So there, I'm like, this is gonna take off, and I'm like, it makes sense for a barber because you see people thinning, and you can sell it to them. You can just do another like upsell service,
Yeah.
And I was up there. I'm like, all right, I'm about to get into this because going back to I was telling you earlier, to just haircuts are the same now to me. I wanted to but I knew it was time for me to take that other step and challenge myself again. And that was going to be my next challenge, was to put this here. And this area is still not like known, so I'm pushing it. I'm starting from ground zero again.
Oh my gosh, Cincinnati is such a great place to open. I feel.
Yeah, so we're just pushing it, and then we're making it happen. It's crazy already. I've done already a few. I did a kid that was 21, and just brought him back to life. He has a 5 o'clock shadow. And then another guy around 30 as well. But scalp micropigmentation is literally you're making impressions, small fine impressions on people's head with the ink, and I mean a needle, tattoo needle, with ink, and it gives them an illusion of 5 o'clock shadow. So to give you more visual on that is, people have like the cul-de-sac, right? When
Mm-hmm.
they shave their head down, it's like all gray around here.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like skin up here, right?
Right.
But what we do is we blend that in.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's just like microblading, for the eyebrows.
For
It's
the
line,
eyebrows. Okay,
right?
yes,
It's
making
doing
sense.
lines, you're
Uh-huh.
doing dots.
Okay, so it looks like follicles.
Exactly.
I love that. So I feel like you let me know what you think about this. I feel like men are just as insecure about their hair as women,
Yeah.
but they don't vocalize it like we do about the new thing that's coming out. We'll tell you when there's like a new weave, or there's a new conditioner, or we'll let you know,
Well,
but
it's
you know,
it's new, it's new to us. It's new to us in the sense of everybody was so manly back then, right?
yeah, yeah.
And now people are more open and willing to, especially on the male side. Like I give you a prime example. And in our culture as Puerto Ricans, like we do our eyebrows, nothing like crazy, thin them out, and we just clean them up. And like in high school and when I was growing up, like, oh, that's this, that's that. I'm like, no, I'm not doing nothing
They probably
crazy.
said that's gay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
all that.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, no, it's and now men around the area and where we live at, it's like, oh, can you touch up my eyebrows too? Like I'm talking about, like 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, like
I love that.
it has changed over time. People are more willing to do new things and okay with that.
That's
So
that's what's up. I love that because I
it's taking
mean,
a longer time, but we're gonna get there.
exactly. And times are changing slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with that, with your shop with S.M.P. I think that's a great idea. I think it's dope. I think it'll give men more confidence because first of all, balding, especially for men, it's very common. It's
Yeah.
I have males in my life that I know in their 20s that are balding. That I didn't know was a thing until I had to have males around me that it was happening to. And I was like, oh, wow, this is like a thing. But I guess a lot of women probably don't know as much because men aren't,
Yeah,
they're either
and they're
they're
self
wearing hats or,
yeah, exactly. They're self That's why you see a lot of them wear hats,
mhm,
or they'll hold on until like they can't
till the
anymore.
death.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
again, they'll wear the cul-de-sac, literally. Like they'll have hair around just to feel, and it's more so too going to the barbershop is a thing for them. It's therapy.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's just again, it's just something that is changing, and we're actually able to kind of make a shift from not just being bald and give you a 5 o'clock shadow look.
Hmm.
So
So what is the common like thing that men ask for when they come into barber shops? Is it like a certain haircut? Is it S.M.P or scalp micropigmentation?
for the like just a regular barbershop
Yeah.
step,
Yeah, I guess then yeah, a regular barber shop. What is a common like thing that men are asking for these days?
right now, I mean, the biggest thing I would say, because it changes every year, every looks, every
Yeah.
style. Um, right now, it's just basic. What I mean by basic, like classic clean cuts
Okay.
and being groomed. Like that's something new as well. Like men's are willing to be groomed, and what I mean by that is like the beard, make sure it's shaped nice. It has oils in it. You know what I mean? The same thing with the hair. Make sure every line looks clean. The fade looks bright. It's
Mhm.
styled. Um, that's where it's at right now. We're like they're taking care of more of themselves. They're wanting to be more pampered now compared.
Okay. What advice would you give then to, let's say, a man is listening to this and he is balding and he is a little unsure about what this process is? He's never heard of it,
Yeah.
but he's also insecure about what his hair is doing. What advice do you have to him um, for like to promote like S.M.P? What advice do you have?
So usually where I go with that is if they're in my chair, I'm like, hey, have you ever heard of S.M.P? Like, what is that? I'm like, scalp micropigmentation. They're
Mhm.
like, nah, is that like surgery or what is it? I'm like, no, it's not a surgery. It is a procedure though. Um, but basically it gives you an illusion of 5 o'clock shadow. So instead of you looking, again, like having the cul-de-sac and all that, you can actually make your head look as a full density of hair. Um, and the biggest upsell that I have, I did it myself. So I'm like, look, I did it. I'm like, did you even know I had it? They're like, no, that's crazy.
Oh wow, I did not know.
Yeah.
Oh, and here we are. You're a beast. What the hell?
So
Oh
obviously,
God.
if I'm, selling my product, I have it in my head, then it's
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit easier. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shout out to you because it's a clean. Okay.
Thank you.
Uh that's what's up. And how long does it last, by the way?
So it's permanent. So it's
Okay,
on
because it's a tattoo, right?
exactly.
Essentially. I love
Um,
that.
but if you take care of it well, it can last you a long time. But if you don't take care of it as you need, you
Mm-hmm.
might need to get touch ups every 10 years.
Got you. But that's not even bad in itself. Every 10 years.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Okay, I want to focus now on you as a human, as
Hi.
Keven. Um, so when was a moment when you're going through this entrepreneurial process, and like when's a moment that you had that you said to yourself and you're looking around at your space and you're just like, damn, I think I'm making it. Like I'm out here doing it. Was there a moment for you that that's happened?
No,
No?
no,
Wow.
because
Why?
I'm not done yet.
Yes, this is true. But you haven't like had like a okay, I'm up here. I'm making six figures. Like I'm making it. Or is
No,
that still not enough for you to say,
um, no, no,
okay.
because my main goal is not me.
Hmm.
It's like, what can I do for the future?
Okay.
And what I mean by that is family. You know what I mean? Obviously,
Hmm.
first, what can I do for them? And then underneath that is people in the industry. Um,
Okay.
like I'm not done. Like I'm just starting, and I know that.
Yeah.
And to break that down, right? Like Middletown, having that barbershop there, that's set in stone and accomplished. My goal there was to have a 8-chair barbershop fully running that accommodates any type of diversity of people coming in,
Hmm.
and be able to bring people that are younger than me into the setting and grow them and help them get to that level, right? So now it's
Hmm.
just keeping that going, keeping that wheel turning. S.M.P, that's something brand new to the area, and I want to be able to bring that to the clients first, and then be able to get people underneath me and they can shadow me, and then we can put them on and get them to that level. If they're interested in it.
Yeah.
Um, and I can go on, but like another thing is like um, I do house calls, right? And what I mean by house calls, I'm doing high end clientele, people that
Hmm.
get in or don't want to get in because they don't want to be bothered. I'm again raising that level up. Their experience is horrible. People don't show up on time. They come whenever they feel like it.
Hmm.
They come in and smelling like like weed, or they come in this, that, or the other. Um, and I've been able to. I want to be able to shift that. If you call somebody or someone that I know, you're going to get charged this much is because the experience we're giving you.
Mm.
And that's one of the things that I'm working on right now as well. That I'm doing. I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like doing house calls. I really don't. But it's just
Oh,
a challenge. It's like, okay, you guys think of us like this. I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna make you change your mindset off of that.
why don't you like doing house calls? I feel like the money is probably a little more. I mean, you could charge more, right? Since you got to
Yes,
drive to
quote,
them.
right? So that's the thing. They don't see that. They don't see the value in it yet because they don't
Mm.
understand it, right? And then, like I said, the experience that the barbers has given them, like, why should I pay double, triple if you guys are not here and doing the right thing as a professional? So I'm changing.
Mm.
You know what
Oh,
I mean?
I
I'm
see what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, like, oh, you want me to do house? You want me to do a house call for you? Okay, I'll be there at your appointment is at 8 o'clock if we agree on it, right? At night.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be there at 7:45 because that's to me that's on time. 15 minutes
I
before.
love that you get the time to set up, see the space. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they're like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. So, because they have heard it plenty of times.
Right.
When I sit there and I do it consistently, they're like, okay, I see your value now. And I'm still fighting with that. People are like, I don't want to pay that. I'm like, dude, I'm not, this to me, I'm not just giving you a haircut.
Mm-hmm.
I'm servicing you, luxury service. I'm coming to you. There's not going to be a barbershop chair in there. There's not going to be mirrors. There's not going to be good lighting, and you're expecting 100%, perfect haircut.
That's true. I didn't think about all that.
They don't see that yet, and I'm making sure when I have these conversations with these guys, like, hey, I'm not just charging you for the haircut. You know what I mean? I'm coming to you. That's gas and time that you're taking away from me, my family, and anything else. Again, the lighting, the setups are all different, so your eyes gotta get adjust to what you have. Like, for example, I went last week. I went to a guy. It was like a dungeon in there. It was all dark, and they're expecting you to give them a full perfect fade.
Can't see nothing.
But you have to work with that, and that's where I'm raising that level at. Where like I'm charging this now. They're like, what? I'm like, you'll see why. And now the word is getting spread out. They're like, now they're telling their friends, and their friends telling their friends.
Word of mouth, man. Love it.
And that's where it's at now. We're like, I'm building that. So then anybody who wants to take care of that portfolio, here you go.
Yeah. Shout out to you. What you mentioned that you cut someone who works for the Bengals, or he owns some.
So I got a few.
Like flex. Who are your clients? Who are these high-end clients?
So I mean, I have a few, not a whole lot. I got a couple millionaires. I can't disclose.
No, yeah, we don't need identities. I'm just wondering, like,
I have a couple of Bengals in office. And I cut some of the FC soccer team players as well.
Wow. Look at you. Shout out to you. Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You need to promote that on your IG, but it's fine.
It's more of a thing like I'm doing it, but like I'm,
So, and I only say that because not for the flashiness, but for like a business aspect, like, or have you noticed that word of mouth is helping you get that high-end clientele, so you don't need to post it?
So I approach everything different than everybody else because I feel like everybody's a human being, and I give everybody the respect, right? A lot of these people, when they go to these houses, they want to take billions of pictures. They want to do this, that, you know what I mean? Like you're saying, they don't like that. They'll do it.
Oh no, I don't mean pictures of them. I was just saying like,
yeah. But I'm saying, like, you know what I mean? They'll do it, but I treat them to that respect, and that's what's getting me to the next person, Yeah.
So are you saying so people don't know that you're more discreet? They like it like that. Okay. Interesting. I like that you said that because I was interviewing my friend who's a chef here in LA, and she could only tell me like she's cooked for and like Blackish, the TV show, and other high-end clientele that she couldn't mention, but I didn't think to ask her like why she couldn't mention. I was just, it's my friend. So I was like, okay, it's fine. I'm not going to tell your business. Even though I know some of the people, but it's fine. But no, thank you for explaining that is the other part of it, that people don't want their own name out there like that. Yeah. Got you.
They want their space. They want to feel normal too. Like I treat them like just any other person. I'm not going to treat you any more or less,
Yeah.
And they respect that. And I genuinely, that's just who I am. I'm not going to treat you, just because you're this, you're still a human being.
Right. Exactly.
And they respect that from the go, because they don't see you trying to kiss ass. They don't see you trying to get something out of them or none of that stuff. And then in my head, I know I'm there just to provide a service. And if something leads them to have a relationship with them, be friends and all that, great. But if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, good for you. Shout out to you. And thank you for teaching me that, because I don't know that about entrepreneurs. Like, it makes sense though.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about like what fear you're fighting through right now. Personally, I don't like the term fearless. I get inspired by people who don't use the term fearless, because I feel like we all have fear, but it's our decision for us to fight through that and not let it hold us back. So what fear are you currently fighting through, or you've recently fought through and you haven't been letting it hold you back?
I'll do both for you.
Mm-hmm.
So in the past, my stuff I'll struggle a lot. In a couple of years ago, I'm talking about like 3 or 4 years ago, was just with stress, anxiety, depression, all that, and I fought through that, and and been able to overcome that, through just learning myself, learning who I am, be able to know what Kevin likes and don't like, and what do I need in my life and don't need in my life. Just prime example, like now, like this has been for a couple of years now, but I like being balanced in my own body. And what I mean by that is making sure I get enough rest. Before I didn't get enough rest.
Yes.
I don't party. I used to when I was a little bit younger. Kind of hit it real hard when I was real heavy into it.
Got to go through that stage.
Yeah, but I knew when to like stop, right away.
Yeah.
And like now I don't like being in that environment. I feel like it's just, to me, it's just I'm wasting my time. I could be doing something more productive. Also, I'm not a I don't smoke, but I used to drink a lot. But then, when you drink, you hung over the next day, I feel like I'm wasting a whole day, a whole, this, that, or the other. So I like being balanced.
Yeah.
So I barely drink now. If I do, it's casual. And yeah, that's just, what was the question? Because I just lost.
It's okay. That's what happens when you get on a topic. I was asking you about like what fear you fought through or what fear you're fighting through now.
Yeah. So like, just being able to balance myself, being able to overcome all those fears. Then, I still fight through all that stuff, of anxiety, stress, but I know now, how it's coming and how can I be able to kind of
the
bring myself
tools
down. Right now, like, and I'm about to let you know now, like, so I have Middletown. I'm working on S.M.P in Cincinnati right now, and then we're also opening one up in Liberty, which is Royal Studio Barbershop and Suites. The concept is having a 6-chair barbershop within 13 suites inside of that.
What does that mean? 13. What does that mean?
So rooms where independent rooms where people can either do whatever they want, from tattooing to makeup to barbering to styling, wax, all of that.
Oh, so you're saying 6 chairs, and then you said, and 13 other rooms where they can do their own business or whatever, specialize in anything. That's fire.
Yeah.
Who are you? Like, what the hell? Oh my God, that's dope.
So,
I love that.
And the fear with that is like, and I'll be completely honest, like it hasn't gone smooth at all. We were supposed to be open up in January.
Okay.
Now like everything's settling in. Like I'm paying for the building, no income coming in for that. I just open up here, no income for that. People like, how are you not like scared? I'm like, at this point, I've been through it so much. Like I know it's gonna work. And I know it's gonna happen. And I just take it day by day and just be able to know if, as long as I take one step forward, I'm cool with that, even if it hasn't happened at the moment that I wanted to in January,
Yeah. You're betting on yourself, like you mentioned earlier. I love that phrase, betting on yourself. And that's what you have to do. I mean, you hear stories about the most successful people and they take risks. And with a lot of, and risks are what other people, especially from being from a small town, you have a small-minded mindset and you look at everyone around you. And if everyone around you isn't doing it, then you are telling yourself, nope, I can't do that. But the really successful people, that small percentage of people, in my opinion, or what they've said in stats, is like the 1% in this world are the people that constantly take risks and are moving to the next level and the next level and the next level.
Risk and discipline. That's all it is.
And discipline, yes, like, absolutely.
That's the big, you hit it right there. Like that's what I wanted to do for the city of Middletown. Like take that risk in Middletown, show them like it's possible here. You can be a barber here or anything small and make over 6 figures if you work about our discipline. And it goes back to what I was saying, like I've been able to be disciplined to myself, be able to change certain things, my lifestyle, to be able to come to where I'm at now,
Yeah. I definitely feel like you are inspiring people from where we're from. I don't know if people have said it to you, but I'm saying it to you that you do inspire me. That's why I had to talk to you. I only want to talk to people that inspire me. Then there's no point in having a conversation. So shout out to you. I love that. I want to ask a little bit about your mental health, because I love talking about mental health. I had to have my own anxiety attack to wake up and realize I was doing the most. I was doing whatever my bosses wanted me to do without creating boundaries. So I'm wondering, and maybe this is a twofold question, like what boundaries have you had to create in your space as an entrepreneur in order to make sure that your mental health is A1?
I wasn't a reader. Okay. So like reading now has helped me, you know, I read books and stuff like that. Working out, you know,
that helps so much.
My eating habits has changed. Like I used to just eat whatever because I was making decent money. So let's get a steak today, tomorrow, the next day, the other day, you know. All of that has changed, and it hasn't been like, you know, perfect. It's you know, we're doing it. No, it's like over the last 3 years, I've been working on a little bit by little bit. I'll get on track, I'll get off track, you know what I mean? But then I get back on it, you know?
Yeah.
So
have you sorry, keep going.
No, go ahead.
Have you explored therapy? Is that how you got through it, or was it like your own like
so I used to do
self-talk?
When I was younger. When like my mom used to take me to therapy when I was like in middle school, which I appreciate it now because I've been able to kind of take key notes from then and implement it now.
Yeah. Oh, dope. You had an early education on that then.
Yeah. No, I do it myself. Like I don't know, I just like learning about myself. So I just try different things. Like I love meditating.
Yes.
You know, that's something that I don't do consistent like I would like to, but when I get a chance, I do that in the morning. Yeah. I just like trying new things, you know what I mean? Like another thing, like I used to be big in like going outdoors back home. And when I mean back home, back in Puerto Rico, we used to be out there all the time. And like when you come in a city like this, you're always like either inside, really don't do much. You go to play sports or you go back inside, you know? Yes. Now just being around nature and be able to kind of just do that. And again, like you kind of get lost in the sauce, you know, when you're like being an entrepreneur, you got to stick to this here, you kind of forget and you know, lose appreciation to like the little stuff. Yeah. So like I've been able to balance myself all the way around. Like I was working out at night, you know, that wasn't working out for me. So I started in the morning, you know? Yes. I tried everything to whatever balance me as a person. Yeah. So like my schedule right now, I wake up at 5 every day. I have about 2 hours to myself, and I had to learn that. Give 2 hours to myself before I give myself to the world. And what I mean by that is before I give time to and it sounds selfish, but it's the way I look at it.
Positivity and selfishness. There's positivity. Yeah.
To my wife, to my kids, to my clients, to the social media. Before I give myself to anybody, I'm giving it to myself first. Yes. You know, it consists of, you know, stretching, working out, reading, doing all those things that help me be a better person for myself, and I can give it to the world after that. I love that. Work my ass off, and then come at home and do what I got to do for, you know, home things. You literally mentioned everything that I've been focusing on the past 6 months, year. I mean, it's on and off. So I understand what you mean on and off, because it's life. Things happen and then you're off for like 2 months and then you're like, oh wait, shit, I got to get back on. But definitely been meditating. I love this app called the Calm app. Highly recommend if you're looking for like guided meditations. I can't just meditate on my own yet. I'm not there. I need someone to. No, I'm not. I am not. I'll think about 5 million things I got to do today. So have you read Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty?
I'm reading it right now. That's so crazy that you're mentioning someone else that's reading the book. Well, have you finished it?
Hold on.
Yes, that is my dude. That is the main man. I love Jay Shetty. So you finished the book. I haven't finished it yet.
I haven't finished it yet. Like I said, I'm not a big time reader, and I don't have the time to reread like that. And I'm a slow reader on top of that.
Same. Yes. That's why I haven't finished it.
But when I pick it up, it's like, oh, that's where I need to be at right now in my life. So like I'm letting the book be what it needs to be for me at the moment.
Implementation of your life. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Every time I read it, it reminds me that like, okay, I need to get back on track. That's a book that's going to live forever because you can reference that for a very long time.
Right.
Thank you for mentioning that. Gosh, I only know one other person that's read that book. But I also do hiking out here in LA because I love nature as well. So you mentioned that. If you're ever in the LA area, highly recommend so many hikes. So I don't know, your kids are probably too young for it, but if it's just you and Alicia, y'all should do a hike.
We do it with the kids too. We take them everywhere.
Yeah.
We went to Arizona last year. We did a couple.
Shout out to that. But thank you for answering my questions about that because I just love connecting with people, talking about mental health and, you know, meditating and all that. I know we are hitting time, so I wanted to ask you it's like 2 more questions. I wanted you to tell us, like, is there something about your industry as an entrepreneur that we, or, you know, other people probably just don't know? Maybe we just assume about barbers or we assume about entrepreneurs, but maybe we just don't know. Is there something?
The biggest thing I would say in the industry that I think the misconception of it's people don't look at it as a profession, like a profession. They look at it as just something that you do and you just do. That's it, you know?
Yeah.
I think I'm creating awareness for that. Like, no, this is a profession. This is a business, and this is the level that it needs to be at.
Okay.
And that's one of the things I think people miss. It's just like tattooing, you know, they're like, oh, it's a tattoo.
Right.
Like, no, there's more than just tattooing, you know?
Right. I think people probably also think that because, I don't know, just the vibe of growing up with barbers. Yeah.
And it kind of got misguided. And
yes.
And it's coming back now. It's as barbers, our jobs to bring it back to where it needs to be at.
Yeah. So what is a goal that you'd like to share that you're working towards, or was it you mentioned the second location of the Royal Studios? Is that what you're?
The goal is to have all 3 places successfully running with the right team.
Okay.
Next couple of years, setting the foundation where it needs to be at, and run it from there. You know, give the opportunity to people, help them grow. I'm just big on giving back and helping, seeing other people. Like, that's what satisfies me. If I see you grow, even if you took a different path, but we cross paths, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm great that we had the conversation. You're able to move. Maybe it's not the way we wanted to do it together, but you're able to do it your way and you're still growing.
Yeah. I love that. Last thing, is there anyone in your industry that you want to give a shout out to that you also see is coming up? I just think this part is important because, you know, a lot of the times in interviews, it's focused on us as the person who's being interviewed, but there's a lot of people around us that shape us into who we are and help us, you know, with the path that we're going on. So are there people in your client, you know, your universe that you would like to give a shout out to?
Yeah. And again, I'm keeping it real. Like, shout out first my wife. Like, she's been through everything up and down with me and dealing with my BS, and she's been able to put her stuff aside to be able to grow what we're growing now. So a lot of this stuff is not just me; it's also her.
Yeah.
So, you know, but stuff like that gets blinded because I only see one person, you know.
Right.
But it's plenty of them, you know. Shout out all the young barbers in Middletown that they're up and coming. They're getting their license this year, next year. My other guy, Jalen, who's doing all my recording, my videos now. Fredo used to do them in the past as well. Shout out to him with him and his visuals. There's so many people. Shout out to all the barbers in Dayton and Cincinnati that we all been working together. Shout out to everybody who's been giving me opportunity, you know, as their barber.
Yeah.
Just everybody. It's funny you did that because I did like a little shout out this past like 2 days ago, like, hey, follow everybody that I put on there to
Oh
follow,
yeah.
like people that I fuck with and like that's helped me out. I was able to,
Yeah.
have a cool conversation with them.
I love that. No, I added this last part in my podcast just because I feel, first of all, I listen to a lot of podcasts and not a lot of people are just like shouting out other people. It's like, I love when there's a community of people
Yeah.
that we can like bond with and connect with. So
Yeah. Like I said again, and I mentioned again, Tyreek been a big, big factor in a lot of stuff. And, that I've been able to kind of like, I was verge of quitting and, he got me back on track and going.
Oh, I love that. Well, shout out to Tyreek because you out here doing it and you needed to get
back. Marv, Jock, he's doing his thing with tattooing. Joey. There's so many people. Dan.
Yeah.
I
know there's a lot to mention.
A guy from Spray Ground too that I met at the airport. I don't know if you know Spray Ground. They have like a backpack clothing stuff going on. So many people.
Yeah. No.
So many people that I've been able to just come across and just have conversations within the chair or just, coming across at the industry. So
I love that. Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I've learned so much. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me. And I just got to say this again. You seriously inspire me. And I'm so happy for you. I'm proud of you. And I am definitely rooting for you. And you're going to do great things. I mean, I just learned that you're opening up a new location. I'm like, oh my God, this dude has 3 locations. This is dope. I love this. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on that IG, whatever you're going to be announcing in the future, what else you're doing. And shout out to your family. And I love that you and Alicia are still together and you have a beautiful family. So I love that. Yes, you're welcome. Well, thank you for coming on to the I'm Coming Up podcast. And Keven, you are coming up.